Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. Such an amazing crowd, it's fantastic. More StarCraft 2 coming up right now with the final quarter-final of the round as well. It's going to be an amazing matchup between two fantastic Korean professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, first up, hailing from Korea, it's Parting!
Parting!
And going head-to-head. I'll tell you why I'm laughing in a moment. Going head-to-head with him is Yoda! Okay, so off camera right then, Rise was actually clapping and things fell apart. You were late earlier and now you're falling apart. What's going on? Yeah, indeed. So Parting, quarter-final, lots of Koreans still left in. Who do you not want to play now? Is there anyone in this tournament that you fear?
그런 거 신경 안 쓰고 그냥 저 만난 사람은 다 졌다고 생각하시면 될 것 같아요.
Well, he doesn't care about who he has to face, and everyone who's going to face him, they can be sure that they're going to lose.
I love it, fighting talk.
Okay, I know you are ready to take it down, so a bit different question. If you could, would you come here again to play in front of this great audience?
할 수 있으면 여기 카토비츠 여기 사람들 앞에서 또 한번 올 건지 여기 또 대회 열릴 건지.
저 감사하게 생각하고 있어요.
Yeah, of course he would, and he's really thankful for this moment.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your two players, Yoda, Parting, good luck.
Good luck.
Thanks very much, Rise, as well from SK Gaming. So, more StarCraft 2 action. Last one of the quarterfinals, then we'll know our semi-final, and we'll be able to cheer for the final foreigner in the tournament. For now, though, to dissect everything in this particular game and work out where the strategies might be going, it's over to our experts desk with QXC, Todd, and Jarrett Kale.
Duże brawa!
SK, Telecom T1 Parting, LG IEM Yoda, two of the best players in the world. I was actually very excited for this match last night. Last night at that party in which Parting was running around, just taking shots and going wild, man. Are we going to see him in full shape today?
Yes, he was actually gaining power from those.
He was. I think he was. He was
the Soul Train is en route.
He was the hit of the party, man, playing Where's Parting? Remember that game? It was fun. Yoda terrifies me. Stoic does not even begin to describe. Nothing phases him. This whole term I've been watching his face when he plays. Nothing phases him. He just executes brilliantly.
Really good poker face.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd be a great player.
He has no emotions.
Well, he internalizes them because he's a professional.
Or maybe he has no emotions. How can you tell?
Well, that would be even scarier, man.
He's a StarCraft killing machine.
Yeah, he's the StarCraft psychopath, man. Well, the first map is Cloud Kingdom. We didn't have that in the last series. Are we going to see more cheese in this PvT series?
I don't think so. Parting is very solid in macro games against Terran. I don't think he cheeses often. He used to be basically the pioneer of using a very heavy Templar style and abusing the fact that Terrans, when they move out and they don't have the watchtowers around them, they can't see everywhere. So he basically always flanked the Terran army with many Templars from a lot of sides and always got some great storms off his. Parting is not only the best force fielder, he's also the best stormer, man.
Yeah, he's definitely showed us time and again that he understands this matchup at a very high level. He understands what the Terran is thinking. When you're pushing across the map, like Todd said, and a High Templar comes out of the darkness, it's very hard to react and split appropriately, get those EMPs off, use your hotkeys as you want, and continue to macro. But at the same time...
Who better than Yoda to fight against the dark side in the darkness?
Oh, nice. Son.
in the GSL, somewhat recently, I remember seeing Parting. He did some... I remember he did some like fast 2-base and then like 7-gate pressure. And so I really don't think cheese is out of the question here. It depends how he's feeling, what he thinks of Yoda. We haven't seen Yoda and Parting play each other very much, but we don't know Do these guys practice with each other? Do they hit each other on ladder? There may be some metagaming going on here, some mind games that we aren't aware of.
Yeah, well, world champion, best pro toss in the world, parting. The map is Cloud Kingdom. Can he defeat Yoda? The players are ready, the casters are ready. Let's have a really good time.
Thank you very much, guys. As we do now have game number 1 loading up and good to go, I'm here with none other than Caldor.
I'm really excited for this game, Katowice. This is going to be really, really good. I talked a lot with Parting the last few days, and currently he actually doesn't feel really confident against Terran. It's kind of funny to see him stand on stage and just talk about, yeah, whoever's going to face me, he's going to lose because I'm going to win. Because if you talk to him in private, he's completely the opposite. He's like, I don't know, right now I feel really confident in my PvP and also my PvZ, but I have a bit of a problem against Terran these days. I'm not quite sure what to do, and I might actually just go for an all-in here. The last time that we saw him play against Terran in the GSL was against Center. That was in the third round of Code A, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And Center lost with taking a single map because Parting just went for gateway pressure, and in one of the games went for an Immortal with a lot of gateway aggression. So that might be something that we're going to see here in this series as well.
Yeah, I'm really gaining through this tournament an interesting outlook on gateway aggression in the matchup, depending on where Terrans end up placing their bunkers. It doesn't really matter how many they have, it's just a factor of exploiting the weaknesses, crossing the T's, and trying to find that little bit of weakness.
And now we're starting things off, of course, with game number 1 on Cloud Kingdom. To the bottom left of the map, our Terran player for LGIM, it is Yoda!
Spawning up to the top right-hand corner here as our red Protoss. Arguably the world champion right now of the WCS Tour. Give it up for SK2's Parting!
Parting was actually a little bit sad when he won at WCG and the Chinese fans didn't really cheer for him. So I promised him, guys, if he takes this serious, that he will get a good cheer from the Polish crowd. I hope that that's true.
They've already started, man.
Yeah, they did. Well, first of all, he has to win it.
That's true as well.
That's not going to be easy. Yoda is a very, very strong opponent to face. He's proving it in this tournament. And this is definitely a series where Parting has to show us all he got.
Yeah, Parting. For the longest time, he was considered to be such a strong opponent in this matchup. And look at this, Yoda opening with a little bit of an interesting 2-racks play.
Yeah, exactly. If he drops now another barracks, then we might see a lot of aggression here. And you know, this is one of those styles that you can play where you have a barracks at home that, first of all, that fakes Parting out a little bit.
Yeah.
Parting scouts what's going on, he sees the barracks at the front, so the first thing that you're going to assume is that he's starting with a normal barracks into CC. At the same time, this forward barracks leaves him open, so if Parting decides to go for a really greedy play, all that Yoda has to do is rally Marines across the map and he can pressure Parting a lot. Take down Harvesters and just kill all those timings that Parting might want to go for. But if Parting is playing completely safe, then you just lift the barracks, you fly back home, you lost a few minerals because of the early SCV that you sent out, the extra barracks that you built, but you're still in a decent position.
Yeah, it's true here. Parting now sees the first Marine moving towards his probe, will be able to shark away from that, but he still does not know about that second barracks here. So the double Marine production is now on the way for our Terran player, whilst Parting back at home, he's just continuing to finish up that cybernetics core and saving up quite a few minerals, so he might just think, well, you know, Nexus is the obvious progression from here.
The Chrono Boost is his first gateway 1. So far, most of the Chrono Boost energy was, of course, spent into the Nexus so that he gets those probes out. But he wants to have the Zealot. He's not going straight for Stalker. He waits for the Zealot, then with the Stalker, and he should be okay against us if he scouts it. But right now, Yoda is really going for a lot of Marines. He's not flying that barracks back. He has 5 already. He's going for 2 Marines at a time. Parting is trying to move out now with the Zealot, and if he has the Zenalaga Watchtower, this is going to be really important for him. He will eventually see what's coming, but Yoda is even sending those Marines to the left side, but the probe is there, and this is so important for Parting to scout this.
Yeah, it really is. He's going to go for the Nexus anyway, though, here with a few more Stalkers on the way. Is he Chrono boosting his gateway? Not just yet. He doesn't have actually the energy for it. Throwing down a second gas as well. Yoda saving up so many Marines to go for this assault.
And remember, what we currently have for Parting is he just saw those Marines that were out of the first bunker, so everything is still kind of normal. He wasn't able to get the probe to the left side to see if there's an expansion for his opponent. So he doesn't know about the double barracks play. He has to be really careful here. And here comes Yoda now. He's moving out. He has a lot of Marines on the map, 10 in total, 2 Stalkers and 1 Zealot is all that Parting has to hold this off.
He's going for the robo facility, not the 2 extra gateways, which would be very, very helpful for him in this situation here. But now the Zealots actually tanking quite a bit of damage there, whilst the Stalker's doing a good job of kiting back.
Yeah, the most important part is he killed the SCV, he took down the bunker, and now Yoda realized that with the micro of Parting, he can't really do a lot here. He's moving back, he still has an SCV in the composition, he could build a bunker, but he just doesn't have the Marine count anymore. And you can see that Parting is trying to pick off all these Marines. He's doing a great job with his micro. Supply block for a second here, but the next round of warp-ins will now happen, and then he has way too many units for Yoda to pressure through.
And I really like the transition here from Yoda, just to go straight into that second command center. It's, you know, he realizes his opportunity has been missed. He wants to play a very, very macro-intensive game here to kick things off in game number 1 versus Parting. But Parting, meanwhile, oh, he's already going up to Robo Bay. This is pretty darn fast.
Yeah, he goes straight into the Robo. But for Yoda, it's now the situation that we talked about earlier. Yes, he's behind and he lost a couple of resources, but this was a calculated risk. This was just him saying, okay, I'm trying to go for it, and even if it doesn't work, I'm still in an okay spot. He flies back now with the barracks. We've seen this earlier already. The double command center, 1 in the base, 1 at the natural. That's support for here, going up to 3 bases. But Parting with this robotics bay that he just currently builds is now going for Colossi, and he might just use the first one to immediately pressure Yoda and move out here. We'll find that out in just a few seconds.
Yeah, I actually think that's a really good read on what could be going on here if Parting gets the information he needs to, because there's no factory. Thus, there's no starport anytime soon. Whilst Colossus are already on the way, that is massive. He drops the scam, he sees the robo facility whirring away, but he does not see the robotics bay. He sees a pylon back there, so he's assuming that there should be some hidden tech up in that right-hand corner, but he doesn't know what just yet.
The lack of a factory that you pointed out is so important here. With the play that Yoda went for, he invested a lot of minerals. He took the gas very late, and this delayed his tech so much. This is why we just now see the factory being halfway completed. He's taking additional gas. He also has to go for all those additional add-ons for those barracks. Reactors. He needs a few tech labs to get the stim, to get all these upgrades. And this gives Parting a huge tech advantage that he's trying to run with now.
Yeah, he realizes it, I think. He knows that there is only the factory just on the way now. He's chrono boosting those Colossi out so fast here to try and build up for some kind of push, I would think. But actually, well, he's got his Stalker positioned over at his 3rd. All his units are completely spread across, but he's adding on those gateways now. So.
We have him still with the pro production, but he's only at 42, so with the 2 base saturation, he's still fine here. We'll see if he tries to go into a 3rd base, but at this point, he could hit a very, very heavy push. Yoda, on the other hand, he's aware of what's going on here. We have him with 2 bunkers, and he's just trying to get the starport as fast as possible. He knows that at this point, there is the possibility of Parting going into Colossi. He scanned, did miss the robotics bay, but from what he saw so far and from how his early aggression didn't really work out, he knows what's going on. Now the scan to the top right once again, and this time he sees it. He sees the robotics bay, he knows exactly what's coming, and Parting is already moving across the map now that his extended thermal lands and the second Colossus are ready.
And the starport has only just landed on the reactor now, so Yoda needs to make Vikings so quickly, but he's going to go for the medevacs to kick things off. He's got a lot of sentries in this composition as well, so will he be able to divide up the bio as well as his name would suggest?
If you just look at the army supply, it's not that huge of a difference. We have roughly 35 to 43, but the tech is the big problem. Those Colossi those will basically kill Yoda if he doesn't get a good shot off. And here we go. Immediately the SCVs for the repair. The force fields are good. Those 2 Colossi are taking down all those SCVs. Here come the bio forces of Yoda, trying to change the course of the battle. But Parting is in such a great spot here with extended thermal and stun. He has the safety distance that he needs, and he is pressuring Yoda so much, pushing into the natural.
He didn't have that many zealots, but he doesn't need them when he has this much firepower here, as well as space control. That second bunker's going to go down very fast. He's already killed off 16 workers here. Yoda in such a disadvantageous position, cannot establish a concave. Parting pushing forwards once again, killing off so much of his opponent's bio. Those 2 Vikings are on the way, but can they seal it?
Great force fields. Every time Yoda stims, the force fields are there. He doesn't have the medevac count to heal all these bio units. The Stalkers are picking off the Vikings. The Colossi are still completely fine. Parting now in a very good spot, pressuring his opponent. Yoda losing so many harvesters, and he still has to keep them at the bunker. This is mining time lost. 34 SCVs against 48 probes at this point in time. and this is just horrible for him. Another round of warping hits. Here comes the next stim. Not a lot of sentries left, but he doesn't need them anymore. Look at the hit points on all those bio units. He stims again. He loses so much, and the medivacs are already out of energy.
So low. Did not have the time to get the amount of medivacs out he needed to deal with this, as well as the Vikings. This is the position that Yoda put himself in with that early aggression. He's 30 supply down right now. Parting still putting on the pressure. Trying to save that bunker. It goes down. There's not that much bio left. 6 Marines, 5 Marauders. They evaporate under those thermal lances, and Parting pushing in with 42 worker kills.
The mules trying to fight as well, but well, right now they don't really do damage. They have to learn that at some point, but at this point it doesn't really matter. Parting is taking the game. He is moving up the ramp into his opponent's main base, picking off the tech lab now, and this is game number 1 for Parting. Yoda cannot come back into this match, not with 40. Right now, Parting has more probes than Yoda has total supply.
Oh yeah, Parting here with a very, very nice game number 1. He read his opponent perfectly. He saw exactly what was going on. This is the last stand for Yoda here. He's trying to kill off as many of these stalkers as he can do, but he still has so few SCVs. 11 behind this in comparison to the 48 probes of Parting.
16 supply left, and here comes the GG as SKT's Parting claims game number 1.
Done and dusted here in Katowice for our game number 1. That Parting, he just read him, he knew exactly what to do. As soon as that Robo Bay is not scouted out early enough, and even then, getting your factory out at that time, as well as getting up to the starport and getting all of the medivacs and the Vikings out that you need, is so difficult.
No Vikings for Yoda, big problem here. Of course, he went into this aggression that didn't do too much damage, so he stayed on minerals for a long time, didn't get gas, wasn't able to get his tech up. And just Parting, he ran with advantage that he had, played this really, really well, and didn't even consider taking a third. And why would he? He had the robotics bay, he had those 2 Colossi. As soon as extended thermal lance was done, he moved in, and Yoda did his best. He fought hard, but he was just in such a bad spot that he couldn't pull it off.
Yeah, extremely resilient by Yoda, but it wasn't enough. So guys, we shall fly straight over to the analysis desk with Jared, QXE, and Todd.
SK Telecom Parting. Dominant performance in game 1. What we might have expected from the world champion. Do you want to walk us through it?
Yeah, it was. I have kind of a blank look in my face because I've been thinking a lot about what Parting did and why he did it. And I thought it was a really interesting game all around. Early on, the probe dies kind of at the watchtower. A couple Marines kill it, but at that point in time, that number of Marines is not indicative of anything particularly special. All it means is that your opponent has continued to build Marines and has them on the map off a single barracks. From that point, Parting begins building Stalkers. So instead of going Zealot Stalker Sentry or being extremely greedy and going Zealot Sentry, he builds Zealot Stalker Stalker, and then when the pressure comes, he makes even a 3rd Stalker. So that allows him to defend potentially any kind of 1-Rax pressure. The 3rd Stalker, I think, was a response to the additional Marines that he sees at the natural. That allows him to defend the 2-Rax pressure. Normally, when Protoss players tech, they make a couple sentries very early on. They're very cost efficient, force field allows you to zone out, and it gives you good opportunity and good play when medevacs and other later pushes, stim type pushes come. Because Yoda committed to this 2-Rax play, Parting knew that he wouldn't need sentries for the normal timing windows to defend, like the stim push, the medevac push, all of that would have been delayed. So instead of making more sentries and delaying his tech, he goes straight into Colossus to abuse the fact that not only he exploits the fact that he doesn't need sentries, and then he abuses the fact that his opponent's tech is late. And so we get into the situation where Parting has Colossus with range and support. He makes the sentries after he's got his Colossus tech started going, and he doesn't have to delay it and use the extra gas on sentries. And then so he's got this Colossus plus Gateway army that Yoda is just not able to fight without medevacs and Vikings. And then not only that, but once the push executes, he stops making Colossus and goes up to 7 gateways. You cannot support 7 gateways plus Robo, but he's not planning on building any more Colossus. And so it makes his push as strong as it can possibly be and abuses Yoda's tech path as much as possible. I thought it was really interesting, really cool.
Incredible. Yeah, incredible insight. Wow. Todd, do we have a moment in the replay? Want to show us?
Yeah, I think QXE summed it up pretty well, but I wanted to highlight this part of the game here, where Parting, he's held beautifully the 2 racks pressure from Yoda, and I watched the replay and I still can't understand whether he counted the SCVs or not, and realized there was one missing, because after he left here, after he scouted that there was only 1 barracks and no gas, he scouted all around here to see if there was maybe another barracks. So I felt he kind of maybe felt it coming, and that's why he was able to defend so well. But after this is really the moment where it's very hard to scout for a Protoss player. So Parting, he throws down his robotics bay, but it doesn't mean he's going to have to commit to this. He's going to make some Colossi, and now depending on what he scouts, he's going to choose to commit or not. So now his observers get in, and he sees the 3rd command center. From now on, he's already decided that this is going to be a Colossi all-in. Had he seen some E-base or something else, or a quick starport, he might have just thrown down 2 forges right now and started upgrading and then take a 3rd. But that's not what he saw. What he saw was 3 command center, and he adapted so well. I can't wait to play ladder and Colossus all in some 3 command centers with a quick robo, because Parting, he's really showing us the way here, how to play, how to leave yourself options, how to open into something, and even if you can't know as soon as you would like to what Terran is doing, you can just adapt later on.
So if I distill everything you said, both of you, Parting is just a genius. And it might be explained by that 50% of his body mass is his brain.
Very obviously spent a lot of time thinking about potential situations that he could run into, and he knows how to adapt. He knows the timings to be aware of. He knows if I do this, then I'll be safe against that. If I do this, then if I scout this other thing, then I'll be able to execute a counter push. It seems very hard for players to overcome Parting strategically.
And you know, Rain, he has another version of this build where he gets like a robo, 3 gates, and then he gets a robo bay and a forge. And then since he only made 1 forge, he's not committed to upgrading so much. And then he decides when he's gonna hit when his observer reaches his opponent's base. He decides, like, as soon as he scouts, he decides, am I gonna attack with Colossi? How many Colossi I'm gonna make? I'm gonna attack with this upgrade. And I feel like this is how you should play as Protoss versus Terran in the mid game, where really you can't really scout how quick Terran is taking to medivacs, if they've made a 3rd command center or not. You can't know these things, so you need to make a choice before that. And then as soon as you see exactly what they're doing, then you can decide how you're going to adapt your strategy to, or what timing you're going to go for.
So QXC, if you're Yoda right now and you're facing a Parting, do you take the Daisy route? Do you start cheesing now? Do you think he's confident going long with Parting?
I mean, to be fair, what he just did was kind of a cheese. So I'm not really sure. I don't know if he feels like he executed
3 games in a row.
Well, yeah. What I was going to say is I don't know if he feels like he executed it poorly and that's why it didn't work. So he could do something else and that would be great. Or if he just feels like Parting is not going to lose to cheese. And I think we'll see in this next game kind of how he interpreted that last one.
All right. Well, the map is Metropolis. The players are in the game. The caches are ready, and this is going to be great.